reopening.
USVI graduates to take part in virtual graduation. All this and so much more when 284 News returns.
We understand that you cannot come to the store and encourage you to stay at home. If you need assistance with bill payments, top-ups, or troubleshooting, we are here to help. Call us at 444-4444 from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, or visit our website at www.cctbvi.com. Click Top Up here or My CCT for top-up or bill payments. Social distancing with CCT.
Welcome, viewers. It's Friday, May 8th, 2020. I am Kyla Kenesha Forbes.
And I am Javon Wilson. So thrilled to be joining you for another edition of 284 News. Now, Kyla, today seems to be a pretty good day for the Virgin Islands.
Most definitely. But before we get into all of that, Javon, let me just tell you a little bit about initiative that CCT gifted FSN and the BVI Red Cross. Now, marketing manager of CCT, Mr. Ricardo Richardson, gift the Family Support Network and the BVI Red Cross with grocery vouchers under its CCT Cares Initiative. The CCT Cares Initiative was officially launched in January 2018, and CCT, the local telecommunications company, continues to partner with local nonprofit organizations to ensure that the community needs are being met. As Mother's Day approaches, Mr. Ricardo Richardson said, and I quote, "The team wanted to do something that would help mothers that may be in need at this time. We came up with this idea to get grocery vouchers from different supermarkets and superettes in different communities just to show support to different small businesses." The vouchers were handed over to the BVI Red Cross and the FSN to be distributed to people that were truly in need of them and would benefit from it. In an invited comment, director of the BVI Red Cross, Miss Stacy Lloyd, had this to say at the handover ceremony.
I would like to thank CCT for their partnership with BVI Red Cross for partnering with us to be able to give food vouchers to the most vulnerable mothers in the community. At a time where we're going through COVID-19, it's much appreciated, and we are so grateful for the partnership with CCT.
Javon, such a beautiful initiative, definitely in these times where we see corporations lending a hand and just supporting other small businesses and also just helping persons in need in our community. So I definitely love this one, and it definitely warms my heart.
I completely agree with you, Kyla, and this is what we mean when we talk about corporate social responsibility. Yep. And like you said, corporate institutions really lending a hand to the community. Now, CCT, through the CCT Cares Initiative, has been on the ground. They are in the business of assessing the needs of the people of the BVI, and that is what I appreciate most about some of the initiatives embraced by CCT Cares. It's not just about giving back, but it's really about catering to a direct need in the community. And I'm really happy to see this collaboration, because even through the BVI Red Cross and the Family Support Network, this collaboration is important, because those are the organizations that knows what's needed in the community. So again, big kudos to Team CCT as we continue to forge our way forward. And again, just reaching out and doing what we must in this time in light of COVID-19.
Most definitely. So let's just get right into it, Javon. We have lots of news for our viewers today.
All right, viewers, the government of the Virgin Islands, within an address to the nation today, announced that beaches will be allowed to open as part of the internal reopening, and of course that begins on May 10th. That is this Sunday. Now, residents across the territory will now be allowed to access beaches between the hours of 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. daily for exercise and therapeutic purposes. Now, while this is welcome news for the territory, the Premier reiterated that persons must abide by the health protocols, with special emphasis on social distancing. If not adhered to, the government plans to reverse the decision to allow our residents to use the beaches. Now, Governor Jasper also announced that the beaches are not open to social and mass gatherings and will be heavily monitored by the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force to further prevent, one, the spread of COVID-19 and also to monitor our borders. Now, in addition to that, Cabinet also approved a decision to waive a stamp duty fee for the transfer of land from one belonger to another. So essentially, the government has now made that process a little easier, a little less costly, that is, in light of what's happening here with the economy, of course, as a result of COVID-19. The government also announced that Cabinet, under the first template of the economic stimulus plan, approved $138,000 for the purchase of 500 laptops. Now, Kyla, many persons right after this announcement were quick to say that this is seemingly a lot of money for laptops, but I guess if we were to do the math, it basically equates to just about $276 per laptop. So viewers, not so much. According to the education minister, this will bring the total to 632 laptops, but he did say that a few small businesses are now donating, or really stepping up to the plate when it comes to supporting the students in the community, Kyla. Now, when questioned on how these laptops will be allotted, the minister, Natalia Wheatley, said that a survey was done initially and laptops will be distributed via the government loan system based on level of priority. So, Kyla, here we see, as we move into part 2 of the internal reopening, a welcome move, if I must say, for a lot of persons in the British Virgin Islands, especially our business owners. Here we see a good majority of businesses being allowed to reopen, but of course, there are a few exceptions as announced today. Hotels, bars, pools, gyms, cinemas, those businesses have not been approved just as yet. But again, a lot of persons are really happy. I know my good friend, Miss Sarah Harrigan, certainly I'm sure she's really excited about this, but really speaking to a different element, like Governor Jasper said, Kyla, the beach for so many is critical to our mental sanity and our overall health and well-being.
Yeah.
So personally, I cannot wait.
Javon, before we move on and speak about the businesses, myself, definitely want to give a personal thank you to our government for really opening the beaches. This is something that we have been ranting and raving about. It is from 6 to 1 p.m.
Yes.
So that's just enough time to get some good old vitamin C. But yeah, definitely a great day here in the BVI as we see the second phase of the reopening being unveiled. And as the territory heads towards this another level of the phase reopening, the government has instructed businesses, as you said before, that have not yet been approved to operate in the BVI to begin implementing social distancing requirements and health protocols in preparation for reopening next week. There are some exceptions, as you said. There are a list of businesses which are to remain temporarily closed until safe distancing protocols are developed, and the governor, spoke just a little bit about that these safe distancing protocols are being worked on currently, but have not been unveiled as yet. So these businesses are hotels, villas, and other accommodation facilities, public swimming pools, cinemas, gyms, bars, nightclubs, and other entertainment facilities. Because of course, Javon, as we can understand, these facilities have large crowds.
Yes.
And until we have proper safe distancing protocols in place to keep the people of the BVI safe during this time, these businesses will remain closed temporarily, that is. So this was approved by the Cabinet of the Virgin Islands in accordance with the Curfew Act 2017, imposition of curfew number 15 order 2020. Now, Javon, the government revealed earlier this week and in today's press conference, as of Sunday, curfew hours will be imposed from 7 p.m. to 6 p.m. So instead of 1 p.m. to 6 a.m. Now this allows businesses to operate within the hours of 6 a.m. to 6:59 p.m. Of course, employers must give employees sufficient time to get home before the curfew is imposed. Businesses are reminded that they are to remain closed to the public as they await inspection by the Environmental Health Division and the Social Distancing Task Force. Businesses will only be permitted to open after they are given approval by the said authorities. So listen closely, businesses. Business owners are to note the following during preparation. Firstly, you need to submit the names of persons who will be present to prepare the businesses for inspection by emailing the Ministry of Health at gov.vg. Then, please visit the government's website for a copy of the Business COVID-19 Control, Public Health and Physical Distancing Measures Checklist to prepare all businesses for inspection. Once the checklists have been completed, business owners are to email their names and contact numbers to the Ministry of Health at gov.vg for inspection. Make sure to place in the subject line COVID-19 inspection. Inspections will be completed by the Environmental Health Division and the Social Distancing Task Force. Business owners are to ask to call 468-5110 or 544-4757. Let's repeat that. 468-5110 or 544-4757 to make appointments for inspections. Not only do we see an extension of operating hours in our private sector, Javon, we also see this across the board in the public sector. So just today, the public service will extend they made an announcement basically saying that the public service will extend its operating hours from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, following the extension of the territory's curfew. The deputy governor said the extended hours of operation are necessary at this critical time to maximize resources and to ensure full access to all government services by the public. This, he said, is part of the continued effort to adapt to and live with the new realities that we face in light of COVID-19. So, Javon, here we see the BVI economy rebooting, all while adjusting to this new normal.
I love it. And, you know, Kyla, business continues, but like the premier said, it won't be business per usual. And what we see here, like acknowledged in the press conference today, is about 84 persons working, working to ensure that all businesses approved on the cabinet have these social distancing protocols in place within their business establishments even before they physically reopen. So it is a process, and of course it's being dealt with according to the level of priority. So viewers, we just want to continue to ask you to exercise some level of patience. I think we are a few steps ahead as it relates to returning to that level of normalcy that we want to see here in the BVI, which in my opinion will alleviate a lot of the fears. I know a lot of persons have been out of work as a result of businesses being forced shut, but here we see again us adapting to the new regular, and that means a little bit more patience and us just doing what we need to do holistically.
Most definitely. But viewers, still ahead, USVI graduates to attend virtual graduation, and justice is now being served for Georgia jogger. Hear all about it when 284 News returns.
Eco? Everyone is speaking about eco-friendly products. We wanted to take the time to introduce the Eco Island brand. Eco Island is a brand dedicated to providing you with a reliable and cost-effective solution. Eco-friendly products for your restaurant, hotel, bar, office, and home. With takeaway trays, bags, cups, paper straws, cutlery, and cleaners. For more information, follow us at Eco Island 100.
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now, graduation season is quickly approaching, and it seems like the coronavirus will not be leaving us alone anytime soon. So the question is, what will grad season look like this year? Well, across the waters in the USVI, Department of Education Commissioner Rachel Berry Benjamin said that after much consideration on how to move forward with honoring the 2020 public school graduating seniors, the department and the Bryant administration settled on a virtual option as the safest bet and revealed the dates when the online events will take place. Graduation for schools in the USVI will be held on consecutive days commencing May 26th through May 29th. Additionally, USVI students will be a part of a global ceremony for 2020 graduates whose commencement speakers will include former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama and many others, set to take place on May 16th. The event's chief sponsor is Google, and it will be brought live on the tech giant's YouTube platform. Now, Ms. Berry Benjamin sought to encourage students who may feel disappointed because of the traditional ceremony's cancellation. She said the Department of Education recognized that there's nothing that compares to the experience of walking across that stage, being congratulated by local leaders, and receiving your hard-earned diploma in the presence of your teachers, family, friends, and community, she said. But while your graduation may look different, it wouldn't be any less special. Seniors, you are a member of a unique class graduating in a year unlike any other. And Javon, as she rightfully stated, there's nothing like walking across that stage, but there's also nothing like receiving a keynote speech from the Obamas themselves. So, Javon, we see where countries, departments of education, and just figureheads are trying their best to make our graduates feel special during this time, during COVID-19.
It's so important because regardless of the situation and the current circumstances that is COVID-19 and of course the imprint that it has left, the reality is the students, they have done the work, they've done hard, very well, and they deserve to feel proud about themselves, and they should feel proud about themselves and their respective accomplishments. Now, I know we had to up it up a notch, but the Obamas, I mean,
listen,
that might be a little better than walking across the aisle for me.
It's easy for me to say, but I think I would take the Obamas any day. But it's just literally a story of readjusting and doing the best that we can during the times that we are in.
And you know, I do anticipate a similar format even for us here in the British Virgin Islands and beyond. Like you said, we have been forced into a new direction, and this is just the reality of the new world. I think the quicker we are to adapt to it instead of fighting a reality that we now have to deal with, I think the better for us, all of us, mentally.
Definitely.
Viewers, we're going to have to move right along. This story it's a devastating one, certainly a hard one for us to report on here at 284 Media, but it involves a Black American jogger. By now, most of you probably would have heard of Mr. Armored Armory, who was killed in the streets of Georgia. Now, I asked anyone who knew him. Armored Armory loved to run, but somehow on a sunny Sunday in a coastal Georgia community, Arbery's run became a deadly one. February 24th, around 1 p.m., according to police report, Arbery was seen in the neighborhood where residents say there had been break-ins. Now, at the time, he was walking around a home under construction, but then he was spotted running on the road. According to police report, his presence then triggered calls to 911. Listen in.
And you said someone's breaking into it right now?
No, it's all open. It's under construction. And he's running right now. There he goes right now.
Okay, what is he doing?
He's running down the street.
Now, according to those police reports, Gregory McMichael is standing in front of his yard when he sees what he thinks is the suspect in the neighborhood break-ins. As he puts it, hauling ass down the street. Now, McMichael, a retired Glenn County police officer, and his son Travis then grabs a handgun and a shotgun and, according to police documents, jumps into a truck and begins to follow Arbery. The report describes that the father and son, along with another man, repeatedly tried to cut him off, but ARBERY just kept trying to run around them. Eventually, the father and son managed to get ahead of ARBERY using their truck to block his path, and this is when the father in the truck jumps out of the vehicle with his shotgun. Now, as depicted in the video that you'll see soon enough, the father gets into a scuffle with ARBERY before 3 shots are fired, leaving ARBERY to die on the streets. We're going to go to that clip. Now, viewers, that is just simply gruesome to watch. I'm sure we can all agree to that, but it really speaks to the reality of what is still happening to Black people across the world. Now, get this, for more than 2 months, no one was charged in this murder, a fact that left ARBERY's families and so many others outraged across the world. Now, as a result, people took to the streets to protest for justice. Luckily, viewers, that reality was changed again because of the video that you just saw. Now, following the release of the video by ARBERY's attorney that captured the ordeal, which, by the way, viewers, was recorded by the 3rd suspect in question. Both Gregory McMichael, like you're seeing on the screen, and his son Travis were yesterday arrested and charged for murder and aggravated assault. The 3rd accomplice that we mentioned, Mr. William Bryan, is also being charged, but up to press time had not yet been arrested. Now, again, viewers critically initially said that there was no arrest because the man with the shotgun is the son of a former police officer from the same department initially investigating the case. In fact, because of the father's law enforcement connections, 2 district attorneys recused themselves before he quit. The 2nd DA in a letter said, Travis McMichael was acting in self-defense, like you just saw across the screen, when he killed ARBERY, and that the pursuit by 2 armed white men by an unarmed young Black man was perfectly legal under Georgia's citizen arrest law. Now, Kyla, as you can imagine, this sparked public outrage from the time it hit social media. I mean, this happened in February. So a long time ago, almost 2 months ago, but this video was not released until the last couple of days, and this is when the attorney for Mr. ARBERY released the video, claiming that he cannot hold it any longer because of the fact that nothing was being done. Again, we know for sure who recorded it. Initially, persons did not know who recorded that video. As a result of what's happening within the video, a lot of officials across the United States, including presidential candidate Joe Biden, has spoken out against the injustice. A lot of celebrities have taken to social media as well to stand up. We've been seeing the hashtag, running with MAUD or running with ARMAUD. But a lot of persons are just disgusted that in this day and age, we still get to see this type of despicable behavior and this type of injustice, not only against the Black community, but more specifically against Black men in our community.
Javon, it's definitely sad. As I hear you delivering this story, it really saddens me to just know that we live in such a time. A few years ago, we know of the Trayvon Martin case, and this to me is very similar.
And we've had so many Trayvon Martins.
Yes,
so many.
Yes, at the end of the day. And this is very similar in nature, where a Black man is minding its business and then pursued by a white male and then killed, and then nothing comes out of it. It's really, really, really sad.
And like you said, with a lot of these situations, and like I said, there's so many Trayvon Martins, there's so many Armored Armories, there's so many Black men who die at the hands of police brutality across the United States, especially across the United States, but across the world. And Kyla, like you said, there's little to no restitution. You know, persons do not get justice. But I'm happy to see, you know, we live in a day and age where a lot of persons say, the only thing we do is pull out our phones. But in this case, even though the person who recorded the incident was the third accomplice, we're grateful that that video is recorded and really captured the true essence of what happened, because of this video, persons are now taken to the streets. And of course, the whole concern about coronavirus, the pandemic, getting infected, all of that goes through the door because people are sick and tired, like we said, of this type of injustice.
Most definitely. And as you said, rightfully, so many of these cases go unheard. But imagine, these are just the ones that are being picked up via social media and camera. Imagine the ones that are not being picked up by camera and that goes unheard and unseen. It's definitely sad that we live in this time. And as you showed that that video, that black young man was literally
harmless,
hunted like an animal. And it's really sad that black people are still considered animals to some individuals, especially in America.
It's a very unfortunate reality, and I'm just grateful to know that we don't have a similar reality here within this region. But we'll continue to keep the family, the friends, and now the fans of Mr. Arbery within our prayers. Viewers, we have a lot more news still ahead. The U.S. unemployment rate has now reached a massive 14.7%. All that and so much more when we return.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us.
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now, like we mentioned initially, we're following troubling headlines in the United States of America. The U.S. unemployment rate has now hit 14.7% for the month of April, the highest rate since the Great Depression, as 20.5 million jobs vanished in the worst monthly loss on record. Now, the figures are a stark evidence of the damage of the coronavirus on the now shattered economy. The losses reflect what has become a severe recession caused by sudden businesses shutting down in nearly every industry across the country. Almost all the job growth achieved during the 11-year recovery from the Great Recession has now been lost in just 1 month, viewers. Now, the collapse of the job market has occurred with stunning speed as recently as February, with unemployment rate being a 5-decade low of 3.5%, and employees had added jobs for a record 113 months. In March, the unemployment rate was just 4.4%. The government's report earlier today noted that many people who had lost their jobs in April but didn't look for another job, weren't even counted in the unemployment rate. So that's just to speak to the true reality that those numbers may be higher. The impact of those losses was reflected in the drop in the proportion of working age Americans who have jobs, just 51.3%, the lowest on record. So viewers, very grim reality for our brothers and sisters there in the United States of America. I mean, 20.5 million job losses. I mean, really speaking to the frightening reality. And I know a lot of persons across the country are forced to grapple with what's happening. But Kyla, definitely frightening as we examine what's happening with COVID-19.
Most definitely, as more information is being revealed. Just a few days ago, I think last week, I did a story on the economy in the U.S. It just basically being the worst contraction since the Great Recession. So we see some outrageous numbers over in America where their economy is definitely plummeting and taking a beating amidst COVID-19.
It's sad. We'll continue to follow this and so much more, viewers, but for now we are out of time. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284media as well as 284BVI on Instagram as well as Twitter. My name is Javon Wilson.
And of course, I am Kyla Kenesha Forbes. Always a pleasure to deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. 284 News, your source for honest and impartial news, right here on 284 Media. We'll see you again next week, guys. Have a happy Friday.